In my last couple emails, I was talking about emotional fluency, and I promised a video to talk about one of the last parts of that. And so I'll just recap very briefly. You might want to go back to my previous emails, or if you aren't on my email list, send me a DM and I'll send you the information. So first step in this is just one of the ways of increasing emotional fluency. Step one is that after you have an interaction with someone, they approach you or someone observing it approaches you and says, you know what, Dottie, you seemed kind of angry in that conversation, or you seemed really sad. And you go, oh yeah, okay, maybe I was, maybe there was some anger. I will tell you, early in my career, I didn't always notice the frustration and the anger, believe it or not. And I think that there's a lot of other people that are the same way. Second step is that after the fact, you notice. So maybe not in the interaction, but after the fact, you notice. And then you see that, oh, I was feeling really worried in that interaction. The third step is that you feel it. You can feel it arising in the moment, and you either stuff it down. You're like, not happening now. Or you don't have any conscious control over it. And so it's either going to explode, it's going to come out, and you're not really in control isn't exactly the right words, but it's taking over. The fourth step that I talked about just last week was that you can feel it arising. You can feel some emotion. You can feel it in your body, because often, always there's these emotions are somewhere in our body. They're coming from a certain point in our body. And so the fourth step is to notice and to choose how you want to express it, share it. Expressing it from sadness, expressing it might be allowing tears to come, allowing yourself to just really get very soft and pull back a bit. Anger might be very intense and, yelling, and, that's expressing it. Sharing it, anger might look very intense. You might have, an intense look on your face, or your voice might get a little more firm, which is okay, as long as it's not being shared in a way that is attacking the other person. And if you can, in that moment, be constructive and share whatever is going on for you, then perfect. And in certain situations, maybe you're in a meeting and you don't feel that person, the interaction, that it would go well if you shared what it was in the moment. Or maybe you feel it so strongly, that you wouldn't express it or share it in the most appropriate way. That's where the promise comes in. You make a promise to yourself that later in the day, you are going to take some time to feel it. You need to keep these promises. I want you to think about what happens when you don't keep a promise to a young child. They let you know over and over and over and over until you keep that promise. And, it makes you feel bad in the end. And that child is just going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep asking. And then it's like, it'll blow up. And that's what happens to our inner child, our inner adolescent, our inner young adult, is that when we don't keep our promises, they come back in different ways. They're going to let you know in one way or another that this still needs to be addressed. And so by keeping your promise, the way you do that is you put it on your calendar or make a note that at 5:30 or 7:30 or whenever you have some time, give yourself 15, 30 minutes, whatever you can allot, and say, okay, I'm going to feel this. And give yourself, some private space where you can sit and actually be in that emotion and say, okay, I knew there was some anger coming up, Dottie, and it might need to close the eyes, or maybe you need to journal. Maybe that's a way to bring it back and allow that emotion to come up. Sometimes it might just not come up, and that's okay. And say, okay, but don't sit for 30 seconds and say, oh, it's not coming up, and then walk away. Give yourself some time, because even if you're having a conversation with a young child and you're trying to find out what's going on, you're not always going to get it from them, or even a teenager, you're not going to get it out of them in the first, 30 seconds always, depending on the person. So give yourself some time, allow yourself to feel it. If you've got anger and frustration coming up, maybe hitting the bed with your fists or with a plastic baseball bat. That's one of them I recommend to my clients all the time. Or if it's loneliness, just allow yourself to go there. And as long as you don't ruminate and spiral down with it, just allow yourself to feel it, allow it to flow through, and see if there's anything, any message, any insights that your inner self has for you, whether it's your inner adolescent or inner child or inner young adult. Because this process is so critical. When we don't process our emotions, when we stuff them down, oftentimes we're stuffing down the tougher emotions, the more constrictive emotions. This is my tiers of emotions from Concept Synergy. These constrictive emotions: hurt, jealousy, envy, blame, revenge, hatred, violence, loneliness, worthlessness, feeling hollow, hopelessness, despair, anger, fury, resentment. If we block those, if we say, nope, not happening, that I don't allow those, then we also don't allow, we can't be selective in what we numb. We can't be selective in what we experience. Then we will limit and not allow ourselves to feel the more expansive emotions: well-being, optimism, thrill, excitement, love, hope, trust, freedom. All of those get numbed and get pushed down as well. You may say, oh, I do feel them. Just imagine how much more love, how much more excitement, how much more thrill and well-being you could experience if you allowed yourself to also feel those more constrictive emotions. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to talk more, this is one of the main foundations of the work I do with my clients, because in order for us to recover from burnout, in order for us to live our fullest, juiciest, most exciting and fulfilled life, to have the satisfaction that we really want in life, we have to feel it all. We have to. So DM me or email me at Dottie@InPlainSight Inc. PLAIN. So INPLAIN Sight SIGHT Inc. INC.com. Dottie@InPlainSight Inc. Or DM me and let's have a chat. Let's see if getting through some of these emotions in a more constructive way and feeling all of them and being able to feel all of them might help you live a juicier, more fun life.